Welcome everyone to another webinar. It gives us great pleasure to welcome you all for this webinar number 3 as part of the series of building a smart sales engine. And this is the third in the series of 3 webinars, and we are very excited to take you to this to the session today. So once again, thank you very much for being here. Just a moment. Yeah, thank you very much for being here. All excited. So, just a quick hello to all our panelists here. My name is Jawahar Kanjilal.
Hi, Ravi.
And Roger.
Lovely. So, the three of us will be walking you through what we have in store for you for the session today. So, what was the webinar 1 on? Just a quick recap. Many of you are new, so we thought we'll take the opportunity to just do a very, very quick recap. The webinar 1 was on what Agentic AI unfurls. And Agentic AI unfurls. Before that, before know what it unfurls, we need to understand the various key elements that it brings to fore. So far, from the context where we are, from sales capability building, L&D, uh, we've trained people. We've looked at capability building as a session wherein you talk to all people and take them through the learnings all at once. This has a huge paradigm shift from a group, a cohort, to being absolutely personal, individual. It is going to be an era wherein you will have signals of rush, literally a signal-rich era, a live continuous. So imagine you're doing something, getting feedback, the processing of all the signals are so fantastically fast that you would be able to turn around an intervention and go and do again another round. And all this literally before even the month ends. Most of the time, we are held to month end pressures. And even before the month ends, you would be able to reverse if something needs attention or if something needs to be corrected. It can be corrected, and you don't lose a month, you don't lose a quarter. And that's the power of it all. So, L&D has always been designed to be a strategic business driving function. It has always meant to be that, but unfortunately hasn't been able to prove itself there for the simple reason that it was limited by what tech could enable it to do, but no longer there. So we looked at what the stages a company will evolve in. When at the very, very early stage, any new company starts off in the stage of being a reactive firefighter, which is when you have a new product to be launched, the company is new, the teams are new, everything is new, nothing is set there. Everything is a hassle. Everything is you need to fight for it and get everything going. Literally a firefight. As you evolve, as the company evolves, programs start getting built and you enter seamlessly into a program builder phase. And thereafter, systematically, you end up into a continuous development phase because programs are then developed over a period of time, established over a period of time, optimized over a period of time, and that's what happens. Then you get into stage 4 and stage 5. Stage 4 is truly a data driven optimizer stage, and stage 5, the smart sales engine. There is a distinct gap between stage 3 and stage 4. Like stage 1, 2, and 3 are contiguous, 3 and 4, there is a discrete gap. And the reason for that is stages 1, 2, and 3 are reflective of what is possible today in the pre agentic era, and 4 and 5 are what the agentic era unfurls for us. Well, when we started this journey, we also wanted to ensure that we know what the various activities will be on the evolutionary path and what the roles would be for people who are the capability manager and the L&D sales team. Once again, from a session based intervention, it enables a continuous readiness, a continuous loop that then is a never ending continuous loop, a perpetual loop that goes on, which is continuously checking for signals and gaps for every individual, addressing those gaps, seeing what improvements have happened, and once again taking all the boxes again and going through that loop again. It's a virtuous loop, it's a continuous loop. When this virtuous loop happens, the work from our perspective, from the L&D manager's perspective, moves from just preparing a deck one off to something that you need to continuously keep ready, content that needs to be refreshed and continuously made available for everyone. Planning is not just about planning batches, uh, cohorts, logistics of sessions, but then the planning would now be centered around what the gaps come out to be and how should I plug those gaps. Trainers will become more expert in coaching because now the interventions are done on a one on one basis. This is a continuous signal rich era in which you will be able to not just measure, which is attendance, completion scores, which are all there, but they hardly correlate to performance. You will be able to measure very specific knowledge gaps, knowledge decay, and how the knowledge is improving, as well as the impact of that improved knowledge directly attributable to the performance of the individual. So it all evolves seamlessly. It all evolves correctly. And as with any transition, it all starts euphoric, then enters into a trough, and then the reality hits home, and we start plugging and getting up. So Roger will dive deep today as well on this segment. But our intention is to ensure that this trough is not as deep, to make it as shallow as possible. Fundamentally, some things won't change. Agentic or no agentic, people will be there and people will be selling to people. And what else? Still, there would be things that are associated with people. There would be unevenness in performance, productivity, pressures, achievement. These are all people oriented things. So here we go. I would now.
All right. What are some of the major challenges that hurts the capability managers? I think sales managers are also capability managers. I think it's a critical input. A leader builds the capability of his or her team in his own way because he or she is on the field with them continuously, I would say 95% of the time. And L&D managers, special sales enabled managers, or the experts who bring in. What are the major challenges that hurts, that impacts? Sometimes you feel sad about it in terms of capability building. May I request all of you to send a quick message on the chat box? What are the major challenges in capability building of people in a sales organization? After all, sales is a heartbeat of every company. Everyone has to sell. Everyone has to sell daily. Everyone has to sell continuously. Everyone has to sell more and more. So, what do you think are the challenges? Could you send me the answers on the chat box quickly in 10 seconds? Time. Okay, that's lovely. Time. Attention span and learning orientation is low. Yes, is low. Some people have it naturally, some don't have it. All right. I want some more answers to come in from. Yes. Apart from time, of course, is a big challenge. I'm going to talk about it soon. Yes, I was consistency, doing it regularly, doing it every time. Team is not available, can't be out. IT adaptability, not tech savvy. Oh, Pawan talks about explaining the ROI. That's brilliant. Absolutely. Everyone's on ROI quickly as well. Passion to learn, yeah. Everybody wants more and more, but what about basics? Chetan says focus, and you can't have a focus for a longer period of time. Learning hours, Sophia, yes, absolutely. I think people want learning hours to be integrated into life itself. People think it's on the job learning, but in a way, part of it is on the job learning, isn't it true? Yes, absolutely true. Yes, Nandini Das says, finding the sweet spot when need meets availability. Oh, that's lovely. Right. And we don't have too many sweet spots in life, isn't it true? I think we always have a challenge. These are some of the big challenges. All right. Understanding socially developed customers. Absolutely true. Yes. So these are some of the big challenges that we always face. No doubt about that as well. That's a field reality for me also. Thank you for all the answers. That's a field reality. I mean, if you really look at it, what it costs, decay, knowledge decays, learning decays, skill decays. It is really speaking, decay isn't a learning metric, is a P&L line because it impacts the performance. Selling underprepared, poor conversions, poor experience, depending upon the kind of business you are in. The confidence of the team is therefore delayed in terms of delayed collapses, in terms of productivity, and everyone wants more and more productivity as well. Everyone wants productivity. New joiners, we have to get them productive, and they walk away and they think the grass is green on the other side, but we are not able to make them productive. And you talked of ROI. Whatever doesn't produce ROI is a leak, the training spend leaks. These are the challenges which are always there today at the moment. Rampant attrition, therefore, and no amount of effort is adequate. Sometimes we have to work fast to stay in the same place as well. I think if you look at it in a simple way, the best, the best way for sales leaders to lead. Leadership is all about building that capability as well. This is a classic Mercury concept of 60 years plus now. Very simple diagram, but this is a heart of really the sales leadership as well. I think we all look at results all the time, results that were achieved in the month of May, in the month of June. Now, results, if you look at it, they come from certain decisions we take. And the three big decisions for every sales leader. What products we should sell in the marketplace? Because products have different growth curves. Products have different contribution. Products have different opportunities in the marketplace. Number two is what customer segments we should sell to, because the customer segments are growing differently. The customer segment's ability to pay is also different. Customer segment need is different. Our own sweet spot with each customer segment is different. And the third is, do we rely on only a few customers? Because all salespeople, we have favorite products and favorite customers. Instead, should we have a good customer base? Basics, only big three decision: products to sell, customers to sell, customer segment to sell. That's all. Three simple things that makes a classic difference all the time as well. Otherwise, salespeople always sell what we want to sell. And you make this decision based on certain market awareness, market information, market strategy, whatever you have there. Now, we always look at past results, but past is over. We're going to have a target for the future. Next month after next, quarter after quarter. We always tend to look at results. Result by definition is outcome. Result is past. Is result enough? No. Result comes from efforts. I don't think it's going to change even after 100 years. Maybe the quantity of effort, the type of efforts will change. So are we looking at efforts of a salesperson? The efforts he or she puts in the marketplace. And when we can set targets for results, why not targets for efforts as well? Because today's efforts produces tomorrow's results. And effort is therefore a lead indicator. Result is a lag indicator. So how can we only measure lag? We've got to measure the lead as well. But to put efforts, one thing which is vital is people must have the capability. If I don't have the capability, if I don't have the right capability, my efforts will not be the right efforts and will not produce the right results. Now, if I know the capability, fine, I can't just sit on it, wait for great capability to come and land on my head in my team. I got to build the capability. I got to develop the capability in my entire team. That for me, is a big responsibility as a sales leader. But most organizations, most people, maybe due to technology, maybe due to awareness, we stop at this. When we stop at this, we are hopeful of future. We need to be hopeful, but we can't lead by hope. We can't manage by hope. If we go one step beyond, yes, we must put efforts. We must really push efforts, but beyond the point of time, push will not help. People will leave. People will get frustrated. Instead, if I build a capability, if I take the help from the experts, the L&D to build the capability, if I have the pulse on the capability on a continuous basis, and capability differs from individual to individual. While there's a generic need to build capability, there's a specific capability building which varies from person to person. If I can do that, I manage, I lead by support. This is a classic model which is never going to change. That means sales leaders need help in managing five things. All sales leaders need help. And here is where the capability managers, L&D managers are available to do that. Number one, the classic difference, today versus tomorrow. I can't prepare today doing nothing for something to happen tomorrow. I got to produce results for today. I got to produce results for tomorrow. Like somebody told me once, today is the tomorrow you worried about yesterday. And it has come so soon. And the more you thinking about it, tomorrow will become yesterday very soon. Process versus people. People are different, but we need to have a good process. So am I focusing on process? Am I focusing on people? Both are vital. Knowing and doing. We all know. Many times we all think we know, including myself. But am I doing what I say I know? The difference between knowing and doing. Excellent. Should I get my results from a few spots of excellence, or should I raise the averages of the entire team? That means the conflict between excellence and higher average in the team as well. And the other one, which is a classic one, you can always see that very nicely, is the big difference between handling new people, handling experienced people who come with their own baggages, with their own capabilities as well. These are five what I would call seemingly ambiguous. Managing ambiguities is a classic need for leadership. Ambiguities will continue to exist. But if I see them as ambiguity, I'm going to have a challenge. But if I see them as integrator, I'm not going to see them as a challenge. So how do you solve these ambiguities? Because I am a leader, because I'm required to handle ambiguities. In a way, it is like tossing the ball, all right? Continuous capability creation is a only way to manage these ambiguities very effectively as well. It's not a training problem. People forget it's human. 80% of new learning lasts very few days. And by the time 3 months, single months, 2 months, whatever, I think most of the learning goes away. I'm sure it happens in real life as well. Learning doesn't stay on unless we continuously keep building the capability as well. So, if you see it in a simple way, the traditional focus of learning and development has always been either new joinee or existing trader, whatever, doesn't matter. We have some induction, we have some physical, we have some online, lots of stuff is given, and we expect people to absorb fully, don't lose anything, and completely stay tuned in their mind. It doesn't happen, definitely. Because in between, there's a big void which happens on the job. Being ready, being in a state of readiness is a continuous journey, is a continuous opportunity, is a continuous challenge as well. I think that is going to make a big difference because knowledge depreciates, knowledge fluctuates. And again, we give a new dose, it fluctuates again. But that way, we cannot produce in the changing world the results that we're expected to produce, required to produce as well. And we are allowing the team to work with insufficient knowledge, insufficient skills, and that means motivation suffers, performance suffers, and the organization's image also suffers as well. This is where the capability managers are critical in terms of function. It's a great function to be in. They need to become the catalyst. Catalyst is not visible, but catalysts make the great reaction happen as well. And what do they need? They need agile systems, agile processes, active monitoring across, continuous active monitoring across, align the team towards a goal on a continuous basis. It should be adapted to individual needs because learning is personal. It is always on, and it should be very simple to use, should not make life a bit complicated as well, shouldn't do that at all, and it should be accepted by all. So in a way, I'll put it simple way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, they need 7 A's to score an A+ on the learning capability in the entire organization as well. So we need a dynamic, adaptive, always learning, and something which constantly is adaptable with a capability embedded into it. So we need to create a beautiful universe where the L&D can make the magic happen. The sales leaders can see the magic happening, can make the entire performance happening the way that is expected to happen as well. Not once in a while, every day. We need to refresh and retain knowledge every day. We need to get new knowledge every day and stay updated. We need to have a safe zone to practice our communication, our pictures, the way we work every single day. We need to have, a connection, a reference in the flow work of how we are developing, how we are performing every day. We need every day, every minute, every time, a constant companion and a coach, which builds my motivation, enthusiasm, confidence, and capability to help me achieve the result across the entire sales organization as well. And we need it every day. The good news is Agentic makes this possible, and it can make a big difference. Let's say how it makes this possible at all. Okay? All right. Let's see how it makes it possible.
Thank you very much, Ravi. So it is very, very clear that there needs to be something happening every day. Why? Because people forget. And if people forget, there needs to be some reminder. But if you try and give the same dose, same message day in, day out, what happens? People will tune out. People will be fatigued out. So take a leaf from some place, some experience that everyone does every day. Social media. Everyone does social media every day, and in bits and bytes, in spurts, and in binges, they spend hours totally during the day. So this is a behavior that is already mainstream in the target audience throughout the world, irrespective of cultures, irrespective of nationalities, irrespective of gender, irrespective of education, everything. It is universal. People do it. And when people do it, they browse on a medium which is a short format, short burst medium, but spend hours. Have you seen someone willingly spend that much time on an LMS, on a learning management system? Not unless and until pushed and threatened. Why? Because the LMS is essentially static. Static in terms of content, because when you create a product new launch day, that's what is created, and it will stay the same throughout the lifetime of the product. No matter how long, how many years that product lives, it will be the same. It is static, not just as a static piece of tech, because the person has to be enlisted to go there and volunteer to spend that time. Content is static, multiple things are static. What we need is something that is continuously running like an engine. And there we call it a capability readiness engine, a sales capability readiness engine, just like social media is running on an engine. So let's be acquainted with this concept of an engine and what it does. Remember this blue infinity loop, the continuous readiness loop. This is thanks to an engine. But what does an engine do? It starts off by observing, by tracking signals. And these signals could be simple assessments that are sent out to people, a personalized assessment sent out to people, not the same assessment to everyone, but each individual getting a bunch of questions that are personalized to them. And once you, so signals like that, signals also from connecting into the CRM, into the sales management system, to be able to know the sales performance of the individual. If you are connected to the lead management system, then you would know how much time the person is taking to move the opportunity from stage one to stage two to multiple stages. Where are they failing? All these are elements that is giving us a lot of information. And when these information comes to us, you are able to diagnose this. Diagnose this with AI is happening autonomously, automatically, continuously. One such element is the daily pulse score. If some of you are interested what the daily pulse score is, we'll talk about it, but just mention it on chat and we'll pick it up subsequently. After knowing the gap, after diagnosing the gap, it is important that each individual is made aware of that gap and they are sent notifications and nudges to enable them to go exactly to the learning content which is made accessible to them for them to be able to go and learn. So imagine this. LMS is like a library wherein you send the person, go to the library, acquaint yourself with the knowledge, and come back erudite, come back enlightened. How many do it? Flip that paradigm. Once you know exactly what bit that individual needs to know, needs to refresh, you send the content, the whole book, send a few pages, a chapter or two, which they can quickly refresh and understand and learn. So it is flipping that paradigm and doing this day in, day out, and continuously learning from this aspect. So, how do you visualize this? Where is the agentic AI in this? Imagine Agent Clara for every capability leader who is looking out at signals and processing and computing and diagnosing the trends for each of the 10,000 people on the field. If you have 30,000 people on the field, 30,000 people on the field. Agent Clara is doing this for you because it is a humanly impossible task. It is an agent that is deployed there, and this agent is doing it for every manager out there. Similarly, there's another agent which is working together with every single sales executive, alerting them of what they need to do today and surfacing exactly what they need to do today. And post that, there is Cora, which is an agent for every field manager. Field manager are also your vital change makers on the ground. And this agent is keeping a track on what each individual is doing up to it, surfacing rather than the field manager going into reports and looking at reports and then figuring out who to chase, what to do. Flora is surfacing the outliers. Flora is surfacing the folks who need an attention. And the man on the ground, the manager, is then more empowered, seeing, seeing everything that is happening in real time thanks to Flora. So this is how in concept it works, but this is no mere concept. Imagine a capability readiness engine. In the next slide, you don't even have to imagine. I will show it to you how it. But primarily, what I just described to you, making it available to you, making it real to you. How does it work on a daily basis? So imagine you have 10,000 salespeople on the ground. Each of the individual salespeople gets three notifications, three nudges on a daily basis. And these three notifications and nudges are absolutely hyper personal to that individual. How does the system know? How has Clara known? Tell Sarah to actually surface these nudges. It is known because Clara has taken a look at what the knowledge gaps are. And the knowledge gaps are known by a metric called as the daily pulse score. Pulse is an acronym here, periodic user learning and scoring expression. It is an acronym which is continuously tracking knowledge gaps of individuals, no matter how many they are, at scales of tens of thousands, even millions on a daily basis. And once this is known, what the knowledge gaps are, these knowledge gaps are also made known to every learner. When they know this, they know exactly what, and they are recommended, they know exactly what to go and refresh. When they go and refresh this, this cycle continues because between Sarah, Flora, and Clara, they are keeping track of this executive. They are keeping track of the learning, the activities that this person is doing, and they are keeping a track in terms of what is the knowledge boost and eventually what is the impact on the sales performance. Directly attributable for the first time. This is a superpower to the L&D organization. First and foremost, direct attribution. Second, knowing what will shift the needle, what will move sales, which has been the big question all along. Show me the value of all the activities. Now this can be shown because this is getting tracked on an individual basis, because this is getting tracked on a daily basis, because this is live and it can be easily attributed and tracked to an individual's performance. That's the power that we are able to see. Let me show a short video to you wherein you will see all the three agents, Sarah, Flora, Clara, at work together trying to solve a situation. It is a crisis situation wherein a competitor has launched a new product which could actually hit you on your knees if you do not go and make your field organization aware of how to react to it, how to handle the objections, how do you counter it. And so it is absolutely essential to act extremely fast. Can I ask a question here? How many, and think yourself on this one, how much time is required from the time that you think that you need to do an intervention, from the time you think you need to do an intervention, till the last man on the ground being aware of what that intervention should be? Weeks, months sometimes, right? And now here you will see in this video how it can happen in a matter of hours. That is the power of care. Okay?
It's a regular Monday morning. Suddenly, Clara, the AI agent, detects something critical. A major competitor has just launched a new product targeting their key accounts. She immediately alerts the capability manager. Without hesitation, he instructs Clara to create battle cards, FAQs, and a product refresher, highlighting their unique strengths to counter the competitor's narrative. Within minutes, Clara has everything ready. The capability manager reviews the materials, approves them, and publishes them as streams across the entire sales organization. Now Sarah, another AI agent, swings into action, notifying every sales rep instantly about the new competitive intel. At the same time, Flora alerts the team leaders in the field and starts tracking live completion status across all teams. An hour passes. Sarah checks back with the reps. For those who haven't paid attention yet, she sends a stern reminder. Get prepared. The competitor attack is real. As sales reps complete their learning, Sarah launches an assessment to test their knowledge. Those who pass qualify for the next step, where in a live practice session, Sarah coaches them on perfecting their pitch. Throughout the day, pulse scores update in real time, showing exactly who's ready and who needs more support. Before the day ends, most reps are fully prepared and ready to face the competition. Clara compiles a comprehensive report with a region-wise breakdown of readiness levels. The capability manager proudly shares the results with leadership. They review the numbers and breathe a sigh of relief. The team is ready. Crisis averted.
So I hope that helped you visualize on a real-time basis how agentic AI can come to fore and help situations. At the heart of it all, it is a capability readiness engine that is doing it. And remember the forgetting curve that Ravi showed a little while back? With agentic AI, with capability readiness engine, you can forget the forgetting curve because the agentic AI, the capability readiness engine will be there always on, autonomously, continuously refreshing people specifically to their individual knowledge gaps, driving high engagement, driving impact, driving sales. Finally, you have what you need. Over to you, Roger, to tell
Thank
us more
you.
about
Yeah, what we're looking at is the transition. Transition is moving from one shift to another. And what we're talking about is that you're needing to develop and support new skills, which align with exactly what Jawahar was talking about. And that makes an adjustment in your roles as a leader. And that has an impact on your identity, how you define yourself, how you see what it is that you do, where you add value, how you add value. And this is actually shifting, is that your job is to not to eliminate constraints, but to transform those into value. In other words, to take the constraints and re-identify them in terms of how do we make the customer value more clear and more available to the customer. And there's, based on the book that I've mentioned, gave scientific backing to something that many managers already know intuitively. And that is the necessary to do more with less, to improvise more intelligently, to adapt our solutions to the realities, to find opportunities where others see limitations. And so the constraints are, let me just get this out. When have you been at your most creative? And when have you had unlimited resources, unlimited time, and a customer who would buy anything? And the reality is that doesn't happen. That's not there. But the point is that those situations call for us to then think and work differently. When you have had a difficult customer, what do? You begin to rethink, or when there are what seem impossible deadlines, what do? You refocus and you re-identify where it is that you're going and what you're going to do. So the constraints make you more creative. And the point here is AI is never going to replace you. AI is not capable, certainly at this point, and it's going to be, I would suspect, a long time, in terms of being able to be the creative in responding to what is happening in the moment. Why? Because humans are curious. And that curiosity leads us to ask questions, to look at things that we may not have thought about before, to look at them from different perspectives. It also requires courage to move out of what is considered to be the way we do things, to think about how do we need to adapt to become more effective, more engaged. And that leads us to creativity. And humans are creative, if anything. And AI can only build on what information it has. Humans can take that information and begin to play with it in new ways that AI cannot. Also, compassionate. You might have an AI agent that says, "Oh, I see this as a concern to you," but that's not the same as compassion. And being able to connect with your sales team, with your customers, with your clients, and understand what's going on deep inside them, their worries, their concerns, what's distracting them, is a human capability of compassion. What happened here? And then we go communication. And communication is obviously essential because it enables us to share with others, to join together in moving through a system in a way that we would never be able to do if we were doing it on our own. So, how do constraints make you more creative? Because constraints aren't merely obstacles, and I've already mentioned this, they're opportunities. And they're almost always the source of innovation. Innovation doesn't come from doing what we've always been doing. Innovation comes when we're placed in a situation where what we have been doing no longer is effective, no longer is giving us the results. It's no longer working the way it used to. And that's where we begin to then define new ways of addressing the situation. So we have the customer constraints, competitive restraints, and organizational constraints. And those are something that we are having to deal with almost every day. And again, how we deal with them makes an amazing impact. So the constraints make you more creative. And I think this was the really phenomenal perspective that actually, without constraints, we just keep doing what we're doing. There's no pressure to move, to think, to innovate. Constraints make us creative. And curiosity takes the routine and it becomes to explore and discover. Courage, AI can take a calculated risk. Humans only are the ones that can know if the risk is worth taking. The calculation. Creativity, AI can mix what exists. Humans can decide what's worth reimagining. Compassion, I was recently doing something with OpenAI, and the OpenAI response was, "I can see this as a concern to you." But that doesn't really connect with how I feel and what it expresses. Humans connect at an emotional level that certainly at this point in time, it does not sync within AI. And AI can communicate and translate languages, but only humans can turn language into meaning. And that's why we think that the most significant tool you have in managing your team and your focus of forward is you. You are the most important tool in your whole array. So the job of a leader isn't to eliminate constraints. Eliminating constraints means that you basically say, do whatever you want. That doesn't lead to growth and development and new ways of looking at things. Your job is to transform the constraints into customer value and business value. That's what constraints drive us to do, to rethink and reformulate. They're not obstacles, they're the source of innovation. And I have this framework I mentioned, I shared it with you on our first session, but I come back to it because this kind of change that we're talking about is disruptive. And you have to be aware of the shift, that almost all of it, shifting skills, adjusting your role, changing your identity, managing your energy. There is often a loop where you can see where it goes down, where we begin to think, is this working? Is this really getting me where I need to go? Am I really going to be successful? How is this changing how I identify how I work? And that transition is an essential part of growth and development. And if you allow yourself to be aware of and tune into that, you move through that into mastery, and you're able to take on new ways of doing things that have never been considered before. Jawahar.
So if you see that, this is really the capability readiness. It's intelligent, but it doesn't replace the sales leader. It doesn't replace a capability leader. It gives a tremendous opportunity for us to perform. Roger spoke about constraint. I think one of the biggest constraints which are going to be continuously higher is, I would say, time. Time is going to be always a constraint. And in the new world, with the changing landscape, time is going to be a bigger constraint. I don't think as of today, there's any way we can get more time than what we get today. There's no other way. But if we can use the time effectively, if we can get information the time effectively, if we can get personalized nudges effectively, if we can have a framework, a dashboard to take actions, to take decision, which is still with us, because that intelligence cannot be outsourced. That intelligence cannot be algorithmized. If I use a new word, algorithmized, you can't algorithmize that, but that's still with that. But you need someone to provide that. And that's why, and remember, the key word is capability readiness. In fact, we always use an interesting word in our training. What's the difference between preparation and preparedness? And somebody said it very nicely. Preparation is an action. Preparedness is a state. We are in a state all the time. And you've got to be in a state all the time. You're continuously enriching yourself, changing yourself, modifying yourself, adapting yourself. I think today we are talking about being ready all the time, the state of readiness, not trying to get ready. That is what this does very effectively to the entire team as well, and especially. And then the L&D leader, the capable leader, is no longer a mere support, but a great contributor to the cause, to the purpose. Remember this, I spoke to you a little while ago. The development plan is not a one-off plan. Development plan is not discrete plan. It's a continuous plan, personalized plan, and that means targets have to be achieved every day, efforts have to be put every day. So development also has to be every day. And it has to be every day to every person differently. There'll be some common, there'll be differences. I don't think we can do it any other way except this. And that means we are really talking of continuous capability creation, and we're creating a great sales organization. So we can offer to you a capability readiness check, 6 dimensions of readiness for a sales organization. Again, I go back, I'm probably a little more passionate about sales. Sales is the heartbeat of every company. And 47 questions, 15 to 20 minutes. And those who are interested, please respond in the mailbox or in the chat itself straight away. I would like to take it. I would like to take it for my company. And tell your friends after you take it, and you will get a nice playbook back. It is not about promotion. It is about you do it for your company. It is a little bit like a health check, a quick health check. And you can find out where you are. There's no pass or fail. You only know which stage are you in terms of capability readiness as well. So please send it. I can see already Supali, Sophia already there. I'll request our team to make a note of it as well. Capability readiness check. And because I think we must know where we are today. Probably we're a little bit advanced somewhere, or a little bit behind. We don't know. I think we all know we are. We must know where we are. So mail it to us, and we'll send you the link as well. And you already got the norms, and we'll continue to mail it as well. No doubt about that. All right? Okay. Your well-thought, calibrated report will be in your mailbox soon after. And then you reflect it. Because one of the classics is, this is what I think we are. This is what this says. That reflection leads us to, this is what we are actually. Aha, okay. And that aha moment is very important to say, hey, let's see what next we can do to make it stronger, to make it better as well. Capability Readiness Engine really converts capability building, evolves it into a strategic business driving function that capability managers, LED managers was always meant to be, but unfortunately couldn't be. But the good news is, until now, not any longer. I think there's a good news. So let's forget the past. Let's see how the future looks. And I think we have to decide, are we going to be part of the future? Are we going to wait for the future? Are we going to create the future? Are we going to be the front runners in the future? I think that's what is going to make a big difference as well. Can I request all of you to take 5 to 10 seconds and write down on the chat box, send it to everyone. Everyone knows it. What is your one big insight today? You are learning, your aha moment, your good feeling. Hey, I think that makes sense to me. What's your one big insight? One big insight today. Yes, constraints help creativity. Yes, and time is always going to be a constraint, Mr. Han. Forget, yes. Okay, all right. Right. As brief as possible. Just said one big insight today. One important insight today. Take a few seconds. Managing between knowing and doing. Absolutely true, Sophia. Isn't it true? It's always a challenge. I'm sure you can it resonates with your experience. Consists of preparedness is a state. Yes, it is a state. Yes. And the state keeps changing, huh? The state keeps changing. Therefore, we're going to keep changing to be in the changing state. And state is relative compared to the rest of the world as well. So state has to change all the time. Yes. But the good news is today, I think there are possibilities available to do it. So we got to decide how we want to make a big difference to the whole process as well. Knowledge needs to inculcate it continuously. Use AI wherever human being capability is insufficient. I think ambiguities is a daily reality. I think leadership is all about managing ambiguities only all the time, constantly. Tossing the ball, holding the ball, dropping the ball, at least. Development plan is a very important look at efforts. True, absolutely. Okay, great. Thank you very much. And we'll stay in touch with you through your mails and other. Look forward to seeing how we can build together a good future. So once you get this access, please do it for your organization and multiply it. And once you see the report, you might say that, hey, I got some couple of friends. I want to send it to them. Can you do that? Of course, we'll be happy to do that as well. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for your time. Really appreciate your attendance.
Thank you.